There hasn't been a new asset class since the bond market was created in 1693. Well, now there's a new asset class, and it is the digital asset space. The question is, are you participating? Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Steve Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Good evening. Happy, I don't know, is it Thursday? Happy Thursday night to you. Shout out to all my people, friends out there in the podcast land. Listen, guys, I'm going to run through a couple of articles. Really excited about this because this is where I believe we are going. This is where I believe that we are going. Do not sleep, okay, guys? Do not sleep on what Ripple is doing with these low value. I think a better way to put it, instead of saying high volume, is to say high frequency. Low value, high frequency payments, right? The number of payments, low value, high frequency payments. I'm going to cover this article here from, because this is where I think, again, this is where I believe we're going. Look, DLT is going to get used, whether it's Ripple's DLT, whether someone else's blockchain is going to get used, and it's going to be the way things are done. Now, we all understand as XRP hodlers and those of us who've been in the space that Ripple's blockchain technology is arguably, in terms of what they want to do in terms of payments, it's hands down the winner. Are there other great blockchain technologies out there? 10,000%. But in terms of payments, whether that be micro payments, cross-border payments, in terms of payments, Ripple's technology, hands down, is the one. But I want to cover something because I think this is interesting. I think this is a great first step towards adoption by the United States government. So guys, listen, this is your XRP Ripple Daily News in around 0 to 10 minutes. Let's do this. So shout out to Tech Republic for bringing this up to our attention. Blockchain could speed up delivery for IRS stimulus checks. A peer-to-peer ledger for conducting transactions allows users to receive payments and donations directly without taking time to pass through banks, proponents say. So although the Beer Code Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, the CARES Act, was signed into law on March 27th, millions of people have waited for weeks to receive stimulus checks. Blockchain proponents say the federal government should consider implementing the technology to distribute and track relief programs. In early May, a group of 11 members of Congress sent a letter to Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin asking him to consider the tech to distribute those checks. The letter stated in part that the United States should be utilizing blockchain on several fronts to continue its standing as a world leader in technological innovation. Proponents say blockchain, a peer-to-peer ledger for conducting transactions, can allow users to receive stimulus checks and donations directly without taking time to pass through banks. In a statement, the Chamber of Digital Commerce applauded the letter, saying it is the first step in making blockchain technology a national priority. This is what I said, the beginning of adopting the technology. And I think this is just kind of a great kind of test, if you will, right? The letter noted that the United States government already supports key technological advances in 5G, artificial intelligence, and quantum computing. Blockchain technology is widely recognized to have similar transformational potential and must be developed and promoted as a key technology that will fuel cutting-edge industries of the future. Right now, distributing economic benefits is mired in inefficiencies. You see the narrative. You see it feels like a rollout of a playbook, in my humble opinion. So right now, distributing economic benefits is mired in inefficiency, proponents say. Every big organization and even government agencies have a lot of people who need to give approval, said Fabio Canacine, CEO of financial services platform provider Nash. It's really hard to get these new programs or innovations to boil through from the bottom up to the top. Meanwhile, stimulus checks have been slowed by the fact that banks aren't working, he said. the reality is there already is a much better way to do these things. Why not use the digital dollar? A mobile app can do a better job of distributing cash than the government, Kennison maintained. The banking system is outdated and digital currencies are the future, he said, noting that Nash launched in September 2019 and has around 55,000 users. There are three compelling reasons blockchain should be used to distribute stimulus and other government funds, he said. It is efficient and cheap. It is transparent and auditable, and it is fast. Feels like that's four, but in any case, the Nash platform doesn't hold people's assets. It's a tool to manage digital currencies, kind of like a wallet, Kennison said. If Nash goes away, you still have access to these funds. The Federal Reserve could do direct transactions to the account a user has registered, and you could get your stimulus check within seconds at zero cost, Kennison said. Imagine the power of that. How much frustration and money could have been saved? Nash makes a small percentage on the conversion of different currencies, he said. Kennison said federal agencies are looking interested in blockchain. They just move slower than global innovation networks. The Federal Reserve did announce it would be using a real-time payment system by 2024 to support faster payments in the United States. This announcement was done in August of 2019. Kennison said that it is critical for the U.S. to adopt blockchain and digital currency if it wants to stay competitive with other countries. The process is actually very simple. The Fed already has an online account system like yours and your commercial bank, he said. All it has to do is mint a blockchain dollar and say that it is corresponding to this other dollar that is in this other account that can be redeemed in exchange. Hello, Mr. Giancarlo. He stressed that this requires just a technological change for the means of exchange, since the Federal Reserve already has its own governance and policies. Nothing has to change for the digitalization of the dollar. The technology for a consortium network is already established. Great point. Not much has to happen for cryptocurrencies and blockchain to become more widely accepted, according to Kennison. Both are already on a path of strong development that should make competing technologies uneconomical in due time, he said. He contends there are no drawbacks to blockchain because it is not a single technology, but a big basket of different solutions for a common set of problems. That said, Kennison added that it is important to select the correct properties for the requirements when implementing a network. All right, guys, that's a great read. And obviously, listen, we've all heard about the virtual conference with Giancarlo speaking. I think it was a congressperson, one of the people who put together the Token Taxonomy Act, as well from the I believe it's the Faster Action, what is it? The FATF, that group, right? So you get that going, you get the digital dollar project going out in the news, and listen, that's the word. This is what everyone is wanting. Congress weighs, this is from Cointelegraph, Congress weighs digital dollars for aid after beer code stimulus payments. On June 11th, the Congressional FinTech Task Force held a hearing examining Fed accounts and a digital dollar as ways of expanding financial inclusion in the United States, particularly in the aftermath of greatly delayed $1,200 stimulus payments directly to the U.S. citizens. The digital dollar has gotten much more attention. A number of bills appeared in the wake of the CARES Act calling for Fed accounts and digital dollars as means of streamlining aid distribution. Morgan Ricks, a law professor at Vanderbilt University who recently spoke with Cointelegraph about the digital dollar, said in today's hearing, the system of money and payments is a public good. Ding, 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 ding. It is critical public infrastructure akin to highways. Whoa. Let me read that again. This is Morgan Ricks, a law professor at Vanderbilt University who recently spoke with Cointelegraph about the digital dollar. He said in today's hearing, which is the FinTech Task Force hearing, the system of money and payments is a public good. It is critical infrastructure akin to highways. The co-founder of the Digital Dollar Project and former CFTC chairman, Christopher Giancarlo, similarly, oh my goodness, you know what I mean, similarly compared the current system to bridges of the last century now in disrepair. Unless we act, this coming wave of innovation will put enormous strain on our aged financial system. That is a quote from Mr. Giancarlo. Unless we act, the coming wave of innovation will put enormous strain on our aged financial system. See, you know, you get these things and you get these hearings, you get these quotes, and then the Donald comes on and then echoes these sentiments, right? A rollout of the playbook, a rollout of the playbook. So co-founder of the Digital Dollar Project and former CFTC chairman, Christopher Giancarlo, I just read that, Giancarlo commented to Cointelegraph in advance of today's hearing. I think the sense of immediate urgency has indeed passed. And I think that provides the time for reflection on the important issue. What the crisis revealed about the shortcomings in our accounts-based banking system when it comes to distribution of benefits and inclusion. I believe that crises always reveal different things. Financial inclusion beyond aid. So in her opening remarks, Mirsa Barandaran, forgive me for butchering that, a professor at UC Irvine's Law School said, though this recession is likely to make these problems more acute, the gaps in our exclusionary payment systems are not new. Barandaran similarly noted that many Americans are already using, for example, post offices as means of working around limited access to banks and checking services. Indeed, they are. No family should have to experience hunger simply because they don't have a bank account. Agreed Task Force Chairman Stephen Lynch, Democrat out of, I believe that to be Maine. Ranking member of the Financial Services Committee, Patrick McHenry, Republican from North Carolina, asked Giancarlo to elaborate on what digital dollars have to do with financial inclusion. To which Giancarlo responded, it's about on-ramps into the financial system and making them as simple as accessible as possible. I like that answer. Chairwoman of the Financial Services Committee, Maxine Waters, Democrat from California, who is the author of a bill at the heart of today's discussion, summarized the quandary. Nearly 35 million people have received paper checks, not direct deposit to the bank account. However, I'm concerned that the people who most likely need stimulus payments may not even be able to deposit a paper check. Fintech companies are stepping into the unbanked space by marketing digital wallets as low barrier alternatives to bank accounts for U.S. consumers. Look, you know, there's a certain segment of this is going to, you know, look, fintech is going to innovate around them. They're going to take up a big time market share. The fact of the matter is the banking system it's antiquated. That's the fact. of the matter. And it's getting exposed. It's getting exposed big time. Big time. The FinTech Task Force is often the tip of the spear in terms of how Congress interacts with crypto. It falls within the House Financial Services Committee, members of which are currently critical to deciding, for example, the fate of Facebook's Libra. Mnuchin just said that too as well. It was, in fact, Chairwoman Waters who initially called on Facebook to halt that project just under a year ago, spurring a radical expansion of congressional interest in crypto as a whole. So guys, that is it. This is the narrative, right? They're going to be pushing this forward. I'm sure that hearing was awesome. I know I've seen a couple of videos on Twitter, one from Giancarlo and one from, again, the congressperson who helped co-author the Token Taxonomy Act. And so this is where we're going, guys. This is the direction in which we're headed. I'm going to use a statement, I think, from this particular article as the title of this video, I think. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap this video up like I do all of my videos. Thanks for hanging out, and remind you guys of this. Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.